The story displays with a windy morning and a messy room, where we can see there is some print of dark footsteps, heading towards the closet. All of a sudden, someone slowly opens the door from inside, and a young boy pops out from there, who seems to be very tired, untidy, and looks like confused with his situation. Then he slowly steps out on the floor, and questions to self, why am I untidy? Did I go to forest to drill last night? He smells his clothes. It stinks, and throws it off and heads to shower. Later, while showering, he starts to hear the discussions of people. Stop staying home all day. Go find some jobs. You have already been 30. Shut up, you naggy. And so on and on. While brushing teeth as well, he kept hearing their gossips. He tries to ignore their discussions and wears new clothes for going college and opens the curtain to feel the fresh air. But the voices starts to exceeds more and more. So he wears headphone. Then he gets some relief. Now he heads towards his college with his bicycle, and he explains about a secret of his life. There was a cartoon I used to watch, where the main character would wake up every morning as a completely different person. I have had a similar problem ever since I was a child, but instead of waking up as a different person, I would often wake up in random places such as a pigsty, roads, damps, forest. And the most extreme one was when I somehow ended up at the top of a transmission tower. I still wonder to this day how in the world I managed to get up there. And he also mentions he have extremely sensitive hearing and he can hear everything clearly within a radius of 100 meters. And retorts, I have been to many doctors, but they simply explains it's just a sleepwalking and good hearing ability. Sleepwalking. Huh? Yeah, right. I am gonna die one day if this continues. Then he speeds his bicycle to college. Now we see he has reached to his college, where he again hears other students talking, laughing, and even whisperings. On classroom, he hears the voices more loudly and clearly, but somehow his mind concentrates on two beautiful girls' gossips, where one girl asks, who was that pretty girl you were talking to on the way there? And another replies, I don't know her, she was just looking for someone. And first girl retorts, I heard she was looking for that scumbag who plays with a bunch of girls at the same time. He became furious because of the class noises and tries to ignore, but he still listens to girls gossiping. Messing around with other girls even though he has already got such a pretty girlfriend. How despicable. So what is the scumbag's name? Is he in our college? And first girl replies, his name sounded pretty familiar. I think it was Jo Minju. By listening the name, he spits out the water and yells them, Oi, you there, stop making up and spreading rumors. Who are you calling a scumbag? Then they respond, huh? Who the hell are you? And he introduces to them, I am Jo Minju. Then they again starts to gossip about him. So he is that scumbag. Disgusting. And he was eavesdropping on us too. Must be a professional scumbag. We might get infected if we look at him for too long. He became very angry and ponders, are the standards for slandering this low nowadays? Fucking hell, I am so pissed. Which bastard started this rumor? Or maybe someone just happens to have the same name as me. Scumbag. Huh. I have been in the singles club for 19 years. It is not like I can cheat on someone even if I wanted to do. All of a sudden, his mobiles vibrates. Upon checking out, he sees there is a message from a stranger and is saying, Sir Jo Minju, I am Li Yunfei. I would like to have a little sparring with you. The location shall be at building 167 on Wangxian Drive. By reading the message, Zhou makes scary face. Now scene changes and we see tall abandoned buildings at dusk time, where it has a number plate written as Wangxian Drive 167. And Zhou has already got there and retorts, this place looks like it has been abandoned for years. Did I get played by that person? And yells, fucker. Suddenly someone sprints coin on air. Zhou hears the sound clearly and loudly, so he becomes aware. Then he looked behind and notices someone sitting on the top of the building, sprinting the coin and singing. Zhou ponder. There is someone on the top? Is he going to jump? Then he starts to run towards the top of the building, but the guy has no care and was still sprinting and tossing the coin, and is saying, tail, yes, I have a quite good luck today, hehe. Up to the time Zhou reaches to the top, and proceeds to convince the guy, bro, calm down. Think of your family, your mother, please don't do anything that will make them sad. He starts to blab non-stop. The guy looks him with confusion and asks, what are you talking about? And he slowly lands on the floor and mentions, I have been waiting for you a long time. I am very excited that you came on this place. Then Zhou asks, huh, who are you? Do we know each other? Then he moves forwards and introduces, I am Li Yunfei. I have become very interested in you after hearing about you from an acquaintance of mine. Zhou again asks, wait, so, you weren't going to jump? And Li replies, why would someone so handsome such as myself jump off a building? Then Zhou retorts, since it was a misunderstanding, I will take my leave now. And Li tries to stop him. Wait, I have not finished talking. Sir Jo Minju, "You must not leave yet." And Zhou asks, "How do you know my name?" Lee answers back, "Not only do I know your name, I also know about the power concealed inside your body." Later, Zhou Minju says, "I don't know who you are. I still need to go to meet up with someone." Lee screams, "Wait, don't leave. I was the one who requested you to come here." Zhou strongly retorts, "So you are the fucker who sent me that text message. So you are the one who was spreading around the rumor about me being a cheating scumbag. What is your problem with me?" Suddenly, Lee projects something through his hand on a high velocity, which travels near Zhou's face. Then he looks back and notices the object was like a nail, ejecting high electricity. And we see the fierce aura evolving from Li Yunfei. Then Li retorts, "Rumors? I had no time for such things. I had asked you to come here simply because I wanted to witness the power of Tengu. In addition, the legend says that it is an extraordinary power, and I wanted to witness how powerful and mysterious it can be." Tengu power? Zhou got traumatized by his response and says, "Sir, there must be a misunderstanding. I am just an ordinary person. I don't have any special power." Lee challenges him. "Really? Then why not check this out right now with some sparring?" Instead of responding, Zhou Minju starts to run from there. Lee gets staggered with his running. Zhou Minju insists, "Is he insane? He is not listening to me at all. Being slandered out of nowhere, and then getting attacked by some weirdo. How unlucky can I get? What the hell is going on today?" He runs off the building and reaches to ground. At the very moment, one of the nails shatters on front of him. And when he looks back, he sees more others coming towards him. And one of it hits him. As a result, he gets electrocuted badly. So he loses his consciousness and falls to the ground. Lee mumbles, "Weird. Why is he so weak? Did I really get the wrong person? It appears I has wasted my time. Now I might go home and play some video games." Suddenly, a darkish red fireball ejects out on the background, and we see Zhou Minju had waked up and is producing demonic aura. Zhou forwards toward Lee. He was in full demon consciousness. He was groaning and exhaling smokes. At the moment as well, Lee gets some chill and tries to converse with him. Hey, since you were this strong all along, why didn't you show it off earlier?" Zhou just groans and crawls towards him. Lee ponder and retorts, "Can he not hear me? Perhaps his brain got fired from earlier. Hello, are you still there?" Zhou doesn't give any reaction. Then Lee tries to make him speak by pawing, squeezing his cheek. All of a sudden, Zhou grabs Lee's neck and smiles, then grabs him up in the air. Lee utters, "What a terrifying strength. Can he still even considered human?" Then he again starts to chant something. "In this simple nothingness, the heavenly marshal resides. Rain the thunder and lightning and march on fire and wind." Due to this, the weapon starts to vibrate and releases electricity. Then Lee directs the weapons toward Zhou Minju, and it shoots him. Thus, it creates huge explosion on Zhou's face. And Lee flabs, "I was careless. I didn't expect him to be this strong." While we see Zhou Minju's face, which got no any single scar, and he was still giving a smile, savage, and just rubs his face where the weapon was shooted. Lee startles for a second and retorts, "So this is the Tengu, huh?" Zhou stays on attacking's positions and certainly disappears with the speed of sound, and he sneaks under him and bangs a hard punch. Lee blocks it, but we see hands get cracks, and he get flying though his punch. Zhou also jumps towards him and provides creepy laugh. Lee also gives him a smile and chants his sutras. And at the very moment, Zhou gets behind him and attacks on him. But he teleports with his weapons and saves himself. And he mentions, "Shit, that was a close call. Now I cannot afford to fool any longer. I should be more serious and shall try to end this in one strike." And again chants his sutras. "In the simple nothingness, the heavenly marshal remerges. The gods shall row and the demons shall halt. The heavenly dragon arises and punishes the demons. I hurriedly punish the depart the crimson palace." Then both of them makes a serious eye contact. All of a sudden, the mandala forms around the Zhou Minju, which was immersing a lot of electricity. And through the mandala, or the chakra, an electrical dragon evolves out. Lee ponders, "I did not want to use this on you, but I had no choice, and there is no way that you will be able to walk out this chakra and endure its power." The energy exceeds and creeps throughout his body, and we see the full form of the dragon. Then, the dragon sorely attacks on Zhou Minju, which creates huge impact on the place. Then the dragon and chakra both disappears. There forms huge mass of smoke, and Lee mumbles, "I almost used quarter of my power, but it was quite exhilarating." Out of nowhere, a van enters on the scene. Lee notices it. Then a beautiful girl opens the door and steps out with filmy style and objects to Lee, "Hey, you there? Can you leave him? He is mine." Lee responds, "Huh? You want me to leave? You must not know of my name, do you? No wonder. Now listen up. I am an extremely powerful once and a certainly genius with a shocking IQ of 85. I am a sorcerer who is so handsome that I has captivated the hearts of countless young maidens, and you may address me as. She only stares him, but don't speaks any words, and she simply ignores his nonsense talks. So Lee yells, "Oi, why are you ignoring me? At least you could pretend to be impressed." Suddenly she puts the swords on him and warns, "If you get in my way, then I will take care of you too," and calls him Chu Yunfei. Because of that, Lee became furious and mentions, "It appears that I must engrave my name on your forehead for you to memorize my name. My name is Lee Yunfei, not Chu Yunfei." All of a sudden, a lady inside Van speaks up, "You sorcerers just have to make everything about killing and fighting." And she requests, "Can you guys wait till I get out of first before you go at it? In addition, I am just woman who is trying to make a living. I don't have any of those crazy superpowers like you three." And she gears the van and starts to go away. While Gongxi mentions, "Don't forget to call me after you are done, Zhao Zhu." And she replies back, "Got it, Zhao Ji." Lee shocks for a second and mentions, "That logo, Little Sun Agency. The senior had told me about them. They specialize in handling all kinds of commissions in our sorcerer society. Although they are not associated with any forces or organizations, no one dares to ignore their existence, because it was founded by that person. So this girl works for Little Sun, huh? This is troublesome." All of a sudden he hears someone calling in his mind, "Get your ass back here, you brat." And Lee replies, "Uncle Tian." Then Uncle Tian scolds him, "You bastard child. How dare you go looking for Tengu behind my back? And you even provoked the little son." Then we see him and was talking through spiritual communicator. He reuses the spiritual communicator and retorts, "How did I ended up with this brat?" Lee responds to Uncle Tian, "Okay then," and speaks to Zhao Zhu, "Since you are so interested in that guy, I shall allow you to have him." Zhao responds, "Thank you for your cooperation." And Lee questions her, "You must be here for the Tengu as well, right?" But she simply ignores and move ahead. Then Lee suggests to Zhao, "Hey, that thing is pretty hard to deal with. If you can't handle it, then give him back to me." She again ignores him and heads toward Zhao Minju. She becomes aware about his energy. Therefore he was still standing and is staring them. Now Zhao Minju starts to crawl towards her and gives a savage look. Because of his aura, the smoke disappears. Then after, Zhao retorts, "We meet again. I could not catch you yesterday, and I accidentally let you get away." She takes out her sword and mentions, "I won't mess up this time," and activates her freezing power. So the place starts to get too cold that it literally starts to freeze out. By the scenario, Zhou Minju get frightened. Zhao takes long breath and raises sharp ices toward him and attacks him with her sword. Zhou cannot endure her attack and screams so loudly that he starts to lose his consciousness. Then he starts to memorize his childhood, where his dad is calling him, "Wake up Minju, wake up Minju." Then he opens his eyes and replies, "Yep, daddy." Now we see his full face and body and is saying, "You suck out to sleep again, huh? Come on, get up and let's go home." Then his dad pats in his head and questions, "What's wrong? Did you sleep yourself, silly? We were gonna have braised pork today." Zhou becomes very happy. Later, his dad carries him and heads towards home. On the way, Zhou again retorts, "Sorry, I don't know what happened, but I must have run off again." Then dad responds, "No worries. Daddy will always find you, no matter where you run off to." Zhou asks to promise him. And dad replies, "That is a hard promise to make. Daddy's not always with you all the time." Zhou starts to cry, "But you just said you would find me. You are a liar, a big liar." Then dad tries to acknowledge him. "Even if I am not around anymore, I have still got some good friends. They all have weird names and personalities, but they will still come to help you, okay?" Zhou questions, "Really?" And again blabs, "Wait, dad, you have friends?" Then dad yells at him, "How can I not have my friends?" Again, Zhou questions, "Then why have I never seen any of them come to play with you? You didn't get into a fight with them, did you? Will they still help me?" He gets tired of his curiosity and says, "You will grow up one day. You can't always count on others to help you, and you can't have daddy come find you every time. Someday, you are going to have to wake up and find your way home by yourself." After that, Zhou starts to gain his consciousness back and slowly loses his demon form. On the moment, Zhao attacks to Zhou. He startles for a second, then flicks her attack, but cannot survive her flying kick and get flying away and clashes with the pillar. Then Zhao raises furiously towards him, and Zhou freaks out and questions, "Who are you? And why are you trying to kill me?" She responds, You are back to normal?" And Zhou tries to warn her, Oi, stay away from me. I will slap your ass. I mean, I am very strong. If you again touch me, I will get angry. Then he notices his hand doesn't look normal and cries, what happened to me? Did I turned into a monster? Then Zhao points her sword to him and retorts, Zhou Minju, are you really back into your normal state? And Zhou responds, Oi, no matter how I look, but you are the one who is not normal. What do you want? What happened to me? His nails starts to become normal. Then Zhao speaks, I don't know why, but you do seem to back to normal. And she puts her sword down. Zhou gets amazed and blabs, I look fine now? What happened? Then she mentions, come with me. I am taking you to see someone. He tries to deny. Why would I go with you? You tried to kill me now. Who the hell are you? Why were you trying to kill me? Are you involved with that guy from before? Don't think you can trick me just because you are pretty. Otherwise I will slap your ass. Zhao became angry and gives him back kick on his face and beats him badly. Then he agrees, okay, fine. I will go with you, okay? Meanwhile, Li observes them and listens their discussion from the rooftop and murmurizes, I can't believe that brat woke up all by himself after being posses by the Tengu's powers. And that girl is pretty strong too. Intriguing. How intriguing. I will have to have a good fight with them if we ever meet again. All of a sudden, Uncle Tian kicks him from behind and yells, fight them, my ass. So Li kindly loses his balance, but manages to regain it, and retorts, Uncle Tian, I nearly fell from here. Then Uncle Tian again yells him, you fool, didn't I told you not to mess with the Tengu? Are you trying to get yourself killed? Li replies, all right, I won't go looking for him again. Then he notices someone is watching them from a side, and shouts, who is there? Meanwhile, Uncle Tian recognizes him, and shouts to Li, you stupid fucker, we are in big trouble now. Then the stranger speaks, I heard that Simone is trying to capture the Tengu, that's why I came. And objects to Uncle Tian Wenzong, don't you need to explain yourself? Then Uncle Tian tries to acknowledge him. This is just all a misunderstanding. I can explain it. Suddenly Li became furious and queries him, who the hell are you, bastard? How dare you address Uncle Tian by his full name, huh? Get down here and apologize him right now. Then he projects his weapon towards him with very high velocity. But that person don't even flinch, and the weapon clashes to him. Later we see him that he has blocked his weapons easily. That makes Li full shock. Then Uncle Tian beats Li with his weapon and yells, you brat, if you want to be beaten that much, then don't brag me along with you. Then grabs his head and makes him to bow his head, and apologizes to the person. This kid is still immature. Please be benevolent and spare him this time. And Li asks, who is he and why are you apologizing to him? And Uncle Tian suggests not to blab again. Then again he tries to acknowledge the stranger. This kid just entered the sect, so he doesn't know anything. And this violated the taboo. I will teach him a strict lesson once we returns to our base. Then the stranger replies, no need, if a kid is immature and can't remember the rules, then I will just have to give him a good beating. And he uses his psychic power and bangs Li on the floor. Hardly that, blood comes from his mouth. The scenario becomes silent for a moment. Then the guy lands on the ground flying and proceeds towards them and retorts, before, I have turned a blind eye when you people were secretly monitoring him, but today, not only did you approach him, you even made the Tengu come out. Oi Tian, when one does something wrong, they should take full responsibility and face the consequences, or else they won't learn. Don't you think so? Uncle Tian replies, it is all my fault that this brat caused a problem. I didn't teach him strictly enough, but on the account of the sect leader, please spare his life. And retorts, as for the consequences, I am willing to bear it for him. Li tries to stop him, but can't even speak. And the guy says, then it is settled. Then he starts to walk off, but tells a shocking thing to Uncle. You should take more care of your body now that you are older. I have helped you seal your acupressure point on your left shoulder to stop the bleeding. Uncle Tian get full shocked by his words and he notices the nail has actually digged in his arms and cannot move. And the guy shouts, go back and tell your sect leader that Zhou Minju will be living at my place from now on, and flees away. Then Uncle decides something. Now we see that guy is jumping off the roof of the houses and reaches his living place. Then he retorts, thank God my name still has some prestige. Otherwise there would be trouble if I had to seriously fight them. Suddenly he coughs bloods and mentions, I have only used a little bit of my energy, and my old injuries are aggravated again. He sats on table and says, I can't let Zhaozu find out that I am injured. Certainly he hears Zhou speaking and became aware. So they are back, and utters, it is our first meeting, and I have to give him a deep impression. But he feels shock on his head, and falls to the ground, and utters, I have realized. I haven't eaten for 2 days now. They reaches to the place and stops. Then Joe retorts, so this is the place, and read the place name, Little Sun, and ponders. Little Sun Agency, a kindergarten, recreational academy for kids? Zhao slowly opens the door and commands him to enter inside. But Zhou objects. Wait a moment, miss, can I ask you one question? What exactly do you do? There was also that man who attacked me earlier. And what is your relationship with him? She stares him for a moment and retorts. Didn't you say one question? You just asked me two. Zhou flacked by her response and replies, that wasn't the point. Forget it, whatever. I just have to go in and see that guy you were talking about. Then everything will be clear, right? But Zhao objects. That's 3 questions. Which one should I answer first? Zhou says, Okay. Just pretend I didn't ask anything. Now he walks inside and sees. The place is full. Traditional. The lights. The garden. Zhou gets shocked by the beauty of the place and mentions, the outside didn't look like much. I didn't expect the inside to be so pretty. Then he hears sound of rumbling and asks to Zhao, did you hear that strange noise? And Zhao utters, noise? And shows the direction. Really? The rumbling noises becomes more louder and louder. They both get confused and glances to each other. Then Zhao opens her sword and commands Zhou to stay back. She goes near the door and opens it. There were smokes formed and sees someone hand crawling on the door and sees a scary face. Zhou gets so scared that he freezes for a moment. But shockingly, that is Zhu Dinge, and Zhao calls him boss. Now Zhu sits on the table and eats a tons of food. That whole dishes piles up. He eats the food non-stoply. Zhou dazes by his eating, and Zhu says something while chewing the food which cannot be understood properly. But Zhou understands properly and acknowledges to Zhao. He says, you left me for 2 days. Did you want me to starve to death? And she replies, I left him money for food. Zhu again says something, and Zhou translates it. He says, how dare you say that? That money wasn't even enough for me to do a 10 pull. I couldn't even get the new waifu. Zhao explains, but boss, we really don't have any money left for this month. We haven't been commissioned for 2 months, and we've been delaying our utility payments for half a year now. If this continues, then our water, electricity, and internet will all be cut off soon. Zhu again says some eating, but this time even Zhou couldn't understand him. And Zhu drinks full water from a jar, and he bleaches out loudly. Then he replies, you don't have to worry about money. I can take care of it. You just need to carry out the tasks I give you. And she shows Zhou Minju to him. Zhou Minju says hi to him. Zhu jumps towards him and says, oh ho, gosh, I didn't even notice you, and pokes him up, and comments, these tiny legs, how come they're softer than a girl's? And starts to check up his whole body. Zhou feels annoying and screams, what are you doing? Zhu thinks for a second, and mentions, nothing. I was just taking a look at your current state. It's a bit tricky. Then Zhou retorts, what are you talking about? As I can see it, you're just taking advantage of the situation. Don't think that people will let you do whatever you want just because you are handsome. Zhu explains, there is no need to be so nervous. Actually, it's not even that big of deal. He became serious and speaks slowly. You're simply going to die soon, nothing else. This is the reaction of Zhou, and asks, what do you mean I'll die soon? He just ignores him. Zhou gets triggered by his ignorance. All of a sudden he remembers something and calls to Zhao. Zhao Zhu, come here. Zhou retorts to stop ignoring him, but he again ignores him and tells something to Zhu. Our neighbor, Mrs. Wang's kitty got lost again. Can you help her find it? Zhu replies, finding cats again? This is the 3rd time this month. Did you forget what our actual job is? And he says, well, we need food. Look, we still have to keep the company alive, don't we? Mrs. Wang is a rich woman. The reward is 5,000 yuans. Here is the picture, and shows Cat's picture. Fuck. What the cat man? She agrees his order and heads to find it. And Zhu retorts, make sure you find it and come back quickly. We'll be counting on that money for this whole month. Then Zhou recalls him, hey, and queries, what do you guys really do? I thought this was Recreational Academy of Kids when I first saw the Little Sun Agency sign. Zhu replies, oh, that just a guise. Zhou get confused with his reply. Then Zhu mentions, there are a lot of strange and abnormal people in our society, and many things that they do need to be done secretly. We take commissions from those people, and for the sake of secrecy, we have to hang a sign like that as a form of guise. And Zhou asks, so that lost cat thing from earlier was a commission too? Then he replies, that's just something we do when we don't have any commissions. Then, what did you guys bring me here for? Could it be a request or commission from someone? And he answers, we were indeed commissioned by someone. It was to save your life. Again he asks, Save my life? Who was it? Zhu replies mysteriously, the requester was a good friend of mine for many years, your father. Zhou gets shocked by knowing he knows his dad, and asks, do you know my dad? He sats on the table, and again begins to eat, and replies, Chi. I get angry whenever I think of your dad. I don't just know him. It's more like we're fated enemies for life. The last time I saw him, I got super drunk. Can you guess what happened after that? The waitress woke me up at midnight and told me they were closing, and when I opened my eyes, your dad wasn't there anymore. So I asked the waitress where he was, and she said he left already, and that he told her I would pay for everything. And I didn't have a single cent on me at that time, so 30 minutes later, he is still blabbing. And after 6 months of hard work, I finally became a super chef. I can cook more dishes than you can name. And later, when someone came looking for trouble, I rolled up my sleeves and shocked wit the entire restaurant. Super chef? More like supersized eater. And then guess what happened after that? Zhou became sick by his talking and retorts, no, that's enough, old man. He kept talking and talking that Zhou starts to vomit there. All of a sudden, Zhou remembers something and asks, wait, we have been talking for so long already, but who are you? And he introduced to him, hey I actually don't really like flaunting my fame name, but since I'm good friends with your dad, so my name is Zhu Dinge. Zhou asks, are you the guy who? And Zhu yells, no, I'm not. I don't harass cats. Don't you dare insult my name. Zhou retorts, no, I am talking about the thing dad told me when I was child, that he had a good friend who could help me. And are you the guy he was talking about? Zhu replies, the thing inside you is called Tengu. That's what's killing you. Zhou remembers Li also mentions that earlier. Zhu mentions, the Tengu we are talking of is different from the Tengu from the mythologies. Whether it's the incarnation of disaster or the dog who ate the moon, they're all just folk legends and don't actually exist. But this thing inside your body, which we call Tengu, is a special energy form or body that actually exists. Legends say that this energy originates from the Kunlun Mountains, but no one really knows the specifics of it. People who have obtained this energy, their senses strengthened, and posses superhuman strength. However, this energy also constantly erodes and eats away at the holder's body and mind, and causes them to pass out and lose control. If we let it continue like this, and have your consciousness keep on being consumed, you will lose control more and more often, and will eventually. Zhou frightens through his explanation. And he retorts, I will eventually. But he ignores him. He asks, isn't there any way to get rid of it? Didn't my dad say that you will help me? And Zhu answers, even your dad couldn't do it. So what can I do? And Zhou mumbles, then why did you say that? You can save me and talk all that crap? And Zhu acknowledges, while it's impossible to get rid of it completely, I do have a way to help you control Tengu. I've found a way that can help you control the Tengu. And Zhou remarks, really? You're telling me the truth? And he answers, yes, all these years, I've been trying to find a way to completely solve the problem of the dangerous Tengu. And mentions he had prepared a book which contains all knowledge of Tengu, 100 different divine arts to control the Tengu or how to utilize it for self. Zhu picks on small notebook from the library, and checks it, and shows it to him. The Erlong Divine Arts. Zhou Donut believes on it and opens it, and sees Zhu's biography. He gets shy and mentions, this is Xiao Zhu's elementary school workbook. It seemed quite a pity to only use it halfway through and throw it away, so I wrote the divine arts in the second half of the book. Zhou just goes on staring the note, and sees Zhu Dinge's handwriting. What is that handwriting? Zhu grabs the notebook from Zhou because he satires on his note, and he utters, if it wasn't for your dad, I wouldn't have bothered with this shit. Then Zhou apologizes him, and asks Zhu to translate what he has written, and he agrees it, but he just looks and looks on the note, and trembles, because he as well cannot understand his own writing, and retorts, it's been a long time, but it's still a technique that I've created. It probably won't take that long for me to decipher it, and acknowledges him. There are a lot of people who are interested in Tengu, that's why it is not safe outside, so stay here at my place for a while. Zhou became happy and retorts, really? Zhu replies, of course I've got an empty room here, it doesn't matter who live in it. But he mentions, 2,900 yuans a month, are you paying in cash or transferring it through the bank? Zhou gets shocked by his mentioning, and cries, you're telling me that I need to fucking pay for rent? And says, to make it more convenient for you to move in here, I've sent people to help you move your things from your house. They should be arriving soon. The gets small quarrel, and at the very moment the van from before appears outside the house, and that lady pops up and yells to Zhu, oi, Zhu, I've brought the brat's luggages over. Zhou gets more shock. Again that lady speaks, The brat's complexion doesn't look half bad, huh? And mentions to pay the rent fee. Zhou gets angry and retorts, you two are just trying advantage of me, seeing that I'm new to all of this. Then Zhao talks from inside. Zhao Ji, you can't charge him $600. Our little sun agency isn't a dishonest business. And she steps out. Then Zhou says, Oh, I have never thought that weird girl form before would be the most normal person amongst everyone here. And we see she had caught many of the cats. And mentions, the mover's fee for this little distance should only be 520 yuans. And she asks the lady, why did you charge him more than the actual cost? And she replies, I asked because from the extra, I would buy new clothes for you. Zhou cries due to there. Then Zhao submits all of the cats to Zhu and asks, boss, which do you think belongs to Miss Wang's family? I couldn't tell them apart, so I caught all of them instead. Then Zhu retorts, I can't tell the difference either. Why don't we have Miss Wang come over tomorrow to verify which is hers? So let's just put them in the courtyard for now. All of cat starts to do strange activity, and one cat runs from there, and Zhao runs to catch it. Certainly, Zhu asks Zhou, now, Zhou, do you want me to help you carry your bags? Zhou denies his request. Now, we see Zhou's new room. There is the poster of Dragon Ball Z. What? And he was pondering. I was accused of being a scumbag and got rumors spread about me, then got attacked by Dome Weirdo. And now I've ended up at this little sun agency. My dad definitely knew about the Tengu. Could he be a sorcerer as well? And he tries to sleep, but hears strange noises. We see all the pets is with Zhao and they are showing strange activities. And from the loop of roof, Zhu is capturing the photos. Due to noises of cats, he can't go to sleep. Now it became morning, but Zhou looks like he can't sleep for whole night. Then we hear a lady speaking, Missy Wang, I have finally found you. It was Mrs. Wang and she was appreciating Zhu Dinge. It only took you a single night to find Missy Wang. Xiao Zhu, you guys are so reliable. I added 5,000 bonus to your pay. And Zhu Dinge gratitudes. I was just doing my part. Mrs. Wang, you are too courteous. Then Mrs. Wang heads off form there and Zhu Dinge screams Mrs. Wang. If you ever run into trouble, you can always come to us for help. And he explains, I told you Mrs. Wang is rich lady. Zhao questions, that cat was obviously male so why did she call him Missy Wang? And Zhu Dinge retorts, her cat is probably cross-dressing. And Zhao replies, I guess that's a possibility. Fuck. Certainly. Zhou appears with his bag packed and asks to them, what strange things are you two talking about so early in the morning? Zhu replies, you are up? Today I have planned for Zhao Zhu to take you around and familiarize you with the area. Later, I will teach you some basics. And asks with some surprise, why are you carrying your bag packed? Are you going out? After what happened yesterday, you can't possibly still be going to class. Do you love learning that much? All of a sudden Zhou cries and says, I always oversleep, so I have already been marked absent multiple times. If I get caught skipping school again, I am done for. And nowadays, there are undergraduates everywhere. Everybody in King Bay is working 9 to 6 and the competition is so fierce. If I don't get a college degree, I won't even be able to get a job moving bricks at a construction site. They got flanked by his reply and says, oh, is that so? And Zhu orders Zhao, for the next few days, it is too dangerous to let him go out on his own. If he gets shielded or goes into beast mode and ends up assaulting others, that would be troublesome. Zhao, why don't you accompany him, if you are free? And she accepts his order. But Zhou retorts, wait, you are not charging for this personal bodyguard service, right? And scene shift to Zhou's college, which is the 3rd University of Science and Technology. And their van appears on the front of the gate. Then Zhou steps out by saying, thank you, Sister Zhao. But she reports, taxi fare 168. Zhou gets shocked by her response and utters, this little lamb is gonna go bald because of you guys. Then she says, sorry, I was just joking. Certainly. Zhao also comes out from the van, and she advises him to get up. All of a sudden he again starts to hear other gossips. A pervert? Kneeling on the ground to stare at her thick thighs? Holy shit, that is so disgusting. Huh, that girl looks kinda familiar. Wasn't she the one going around looking for a player? That Zhou Minju really isn't anything good. I think the one kneeling on the ground is the player Zhou Minju. Woo, you are right. Zhou get flustered and asks to Zhao, you were looking for a player yesterday? And that player is me? Zhao replies, yeah, I went to school yesterday just to find you. Zhou startles for a second and yells, so you guys were the ones spreading the rumors. Sigh. What a poor child, Zhao retorts. Now they heads towards Zhou class, but he was still shouting, it is so hard to believe. You have almost completely ruined my reputation. Do you have any idea what you have done? And Zhao replies, the school is too big. I couldn't find you. I had to play some tricks. Then we see flashback, where Zhao acts like an innocent and asks someone about Zhou. Do you know a player named Zhou Minju? That Zhou Minju approached me with sexual desires last night. I refused, but he forced himself onto me. Moreover, he was dating more than a dozen women at the same time, deceiving their feeling and then abandoning them. He is an enemy to us ladies. And back to present, after that your reputation as a player was made known throughout the entire college. You would come to find me, and I would be able to bring back with me. Zhou mumbles, "It is remarkable how you thought of such a harmful method." Zhao replies, "Well, I wasn't the one who thought of this method. Somebody else taught me." Zhou ponders, "I don't know how, but I have actually guessed the real culprit behind the scheme. What will I do? I can't be known as a players for all 4 years of university." Zhao retorts, "Master and Sister Zhao said that if men aren't bad, then women won't love them. I think that you will definitely attract plenty of women in the future." And Zhou cries, "What are you talking about? That is complete nonsense." Suddenly, Zhao becomes aware about something and pushes Zhou down to ground. Raisely many white birds directs towards them, which were looking very angry, and attacks them. And Zhou questions, "What's wrong?" Then the birds sats on tree branches, and all of them stares at them.